Hi, welcome. I'm Sue. This is my Blue Heron Hill farm, and today, decision day. Oh, so many decisions. Today's the day I plant my tomatoes. I spent all morning devising a list of all the different types and how many of each plant that I want. And then of course I have to factor in my neighbors' wants and desires also, because I sort of, they co-opt me into, into starting a few plants for them, which I don't mind at all. But this is a terribly hard decision for me. What do I plant? How many do I plant? And if I can find space in the garden to plant all of these. Well, I've sort of started, and let me take you along with what I've initially decided to do. Okay, let's start with the large tomatoes, the slicers and the paste tomatoes. Now I have three, I think, of my all-time favorites that I want to plant every single year. The first one is Amish paste. Such a great tomato for sauces. Very thick pulp and little seeds, great for sauce. Now, I saved seeds from last year's crop, and I'm going to try and see if these will germinate, to see if I did it right, and to see, and if I get any germination, and I will plant one or two of these to see what kind of a crop I get from them. Because if I can germinate and successfully grow a nice crop of these Amish paste, then I won't have to buy seeds anymore. I can just keep collecting from my plants. Now this is an heirloom variety, and it should grow true to the parent plant. Another plant that I grew for the first time last year was the Hungarian Heart. These were wonderful. I think I got an almost 2-pound tomato out of this variety. It is that heart-shaped tomato, very pulpy, very meaty, very few seeds. It's a great sauce tomato, and the taste is excellent too. I save seeds from those also, and I'm going to do the same as I am doing with my Amish paste, and see if I can't get a nice crop from those seeds that I harvested from last year. My other favorite tomato, it's a paste tomato. I don't think you're going to be able to read this, but there it is. It's an alpaca. And this is another paste tomato. Again, a great tomato. It has a very elongated look, but it's got a very meaty texture to it, and it makes great sauce. So, and I will try my own seeds that I saved from those. So I saved 3 types of seeds to do this little experimentation. So I hope to grow a good crop of these staples here. Another one that I'm going to grow this year is the raspberry Liana. My neighbor grew these and absolutely loved them. They're a medium-sized tomato, but the flavor is excellent. So I thought I'd give a couple of these a try, maybe 1 or 2 plants, just to give it a shot. A couple old and tried and true ones are the German Johnson. I'm going to put in a couple of those. Those are big slicers. And then also Black Seaman. It has a kind of a dark stripy tone to it with black shoulders on the top of the tomato. Very tasty, very tasty. This I haven't decided whether I am going to plant these this year or not. It's the Wisconsin 55s. I had great success last year with these tomatoes. I really like them. They're in the mid-range. They aren't a very large tomato, yet they aren't small. Very prolific. They don't grow that tall. They're kind of, I think they were called a semi-determinate. I don't know what that means, but I got a good crop off of these. If I have room, I will plant some more of these, but we'll see. And then there's one more, and of course, I get a free seed packet, right? I can't resist. They caught me. It's a white tomasol. Looks spectacular. Amazing heirloom, just bursting with fragrance and natural goodness. Creamy, smooth, half-pound fruit. So that means a good-sized fruit. So anyway, thanks Baker Creek. And now I have another plant to grow. I think I may squeeze in one, possibly two of these. So those are Amish paste and slicing tomatoes. And so next up are the cherry and grape varieties. Okay, now we're on to the grape tomatoes and the cherry tomatoes and all those lovely little things that you just pop in your mouth throughout the whole gardening season. Okay, first up is, probably can't read this, but it is a hybrid. It's the Juliet. Now, Juliet is an award winner. It is probably, in my opinion, one of the most prolific grape tomatoes ever. And they're very, very good. And even canned straight up whole, they'll make a wonderful sauce. And they're great for roasting, and of course great for eating all around, but very prolific. I will probably put a couple of plants in my garden. This is one that caught my eye. It's called a jelly bean red. And I think it's just a miniaturized little cherry tomato, very, very small. It just caught my eye and just couldn't pass it up. I have to find a spot for it. And this one I grew last year, Candyland. I love these. They are a current type tomato, and they are probably the size of your little pinky at the most. But they never make it into the house because you just eat them all up in the garden. My grandkids came and they would just pluck them off the vine, even right after they were just starting to blush. They were like little birds in the garden, and they would just burn through all of them. They were the sweetest little pops of flavor. I heartily recommend Candylands. Another one that caught my eye, a new one for me, would be Bumblebee Sunrise. And these are kind of a two-tone, kind of a stripy kind of a tomato. Orange, I guess, with red stripes, cherry tomato, medium-sized cherries. The color just drew me in. Anyway, have to plant at least one of those. Another one is this Sun Sugar, which is a yellow tomato. Didn't have any yellow tomatoes last year, had to plant some this year. And of course, then there's always the Sun Gold, which is a hybrid tomato, also a yellow tomato, which again is very prolific also, and I'll have to put in one of those. So that's 5 different varieties of cherry, grape, currant style tomatoes. One thing I often people lump it into the tomato family is tomatillo. Tomatillos are not in the same family as a tomato. Tomatillos and ground cherries are in the same family. The fruit ripens, it has a papery outer skin. I've been having tomatillos in my garden forever. They self-seed year after year. Last year, I don't know what I did. I probably just covered up all the seeds and I didn't have any tomatillos. So had to pick up another package. to get those crops growing. And I'm wondering if I will get the same thing with the ground cherries that I planted last year. They were so sweet and so good. Although it took forever to get them growing, and then they lasted way into the end of the season, and so my harvest didn't come until very, very late. I was pretty disappointed. Actually ended up picking some up at the farmer's market and made some jam out of them. It was delicious. Okay, so I have my job cut out for me. I've got some pots ready to go. I think I have totals of over 36 tomatoes to plant. So I have a lot of work to do. Not going to bother everybody with the whole tomato planting process, but we could do just another little, just another little go through. Okay, seed starting mix. This is a mix of just a seed starting. It has perlite, vermiculite, peat moss. This particular one, I put in some coco coir in here also because I was running low on my seed starting mix. I just push it into the trays like this, level it off, give it a punch down, not too compacted, and then I'll top it back off again. You don't want it too compressed in the little cells. Just enough. I will use my little method with the, I take a toothpick, dip the toothpick in water, and I can touch it on a seed, and then I can press the seed right into the soil. I'll probably put about 2 seeds per cell, just in case of germination. I don't expect that I shouldn't get anything less than, 95 to 100% germination on this, but you never know, especially those ones that I collected seeds from. Those for sure I'll put in probably at least 3. I didn't do any sprouting on these, advanced sprouting, but I'm just gonna go with it and see how it works. Anyway, these will go into my grow room on a heat mat, and they will have a humidity dome over the top of them just until they germinate. I expect it will take a few days for germination, not too long. I will give them a squirt of moisture, of water on top. No fertilizer necessary. Once the first leaves start coming up, I'll do bottom watering. They'll be in a, let's see, I have these little trays. They will go inside a tray. I can fill this with some water and put them in. And when after 20 minutes, I'll take any remaining water, dump it out, and place it back in. And then here's a little humidity dome, and on a heat mat until they germinate. And once they germinate, I'll take them off the heat mat and away they go. So, not going to bore you with the whole planning process, but this is what I do. And this is how it works. And I'll pop back with a picture or two of how they are growing. Okay, until the next time, in the next video, happy gardening. Subscribe, comment, thumbs up, all that stuff. And see you on the next one. Bye-bye.